animals and plants at home. Everything that surrounds a living thing is its environment. So I'm a living thing, and this room and this board and these lights are surrounding me. So this is my environment. This includes living and non-living things. Everything around me, the air, the lights, the ground, all of these things that surround me make my environment. Your desk, your teacher, and the books are all part of your classroom environment. So is the air. Also, the air you're breathing is also your surrounding. It's in your environment. An ecosystem is all of the living and non-living things in a place. Myself and my environment all together make an ecosystem, just like here. This rabbit over here, this is a living thing. Everything around this rabbit is its environment. The rabbit and everything else, the rabbit and its environment make an ecosystem with all the living things and the non-living things. Living things like plants, water plants, like flowers, like trees, like rabbits. Non-living things like rocks, like water, like air, and like sun. In an ecosystem, living things interact with each other and with the non-living part of their environment. So, these goats over here, they interact with each other. And they interact with the grass because they eat the grass. So these are living and these are living things. As we can see also here, the bees are flying in the air. Bees are living, the air is non-living. The cows here, they are interacting with the water, they are drinking water. The cows are living, the water is non-living, and etc. Living things in the same ecosystem share resources. Resources are food, water, air, etc. Everything that keeps them alive is called resource, okay? So these living things, they share resources because they live in the same place. These cows, they're sharing the grass. The grass is a resource because it's food. It gives them energy. These animals here, they are from different populations or different species, but they're all sharing the water. So here is how animals or living things share resources in their ecosystem. Many of them also share a habitat. What is the habitat? A habitat is the space where a plant or an animal lives. So the habitat is the house of the living thing. As you can see here, this tree is the habitat of the squirrel and the owls. They both live together. And maybe if you look up the tree, you will see some birds, you will see, I don't know, some pigeons, you will see some insects, you can see a beehive. As you can see in this picture, this is a water ecosystem or ocean ecosystem. All of these living things are sharing this ecosystem or this ocean together. They are living in it together. A bird's habitat is a forest. So this is the bird and this is its habitat or its house. A bird's environment is everything around it. So its environment is the trees, the snake, the bushes, these tiny plants and the flowers. Take a look at this forest. What kind of things are in the bird's environment? So take a look and maybe you will see things that I didn't see. Maybe you will include also air because they're breathing air. You might say maybe under these plants there are some insects. Communities of populations. Let's dig deeper into ecosystems and learn what are communities and what are populations. Let's look at this park. This is called the Yellowstone National Park in the United States of America. In this national park, wolves live there, bears, snakes, birds, and many other plants and animals live here. As you can see forests of maybe pine trees, maybe cedar trees. You can see some other plants over here. And if you go inside, if you zoom into this picture, you will see different kinds of animals live there. A population is all of one kind of organisms living in the same area. This picture shows a population of wolves. When I say population of wolves, I mean how many wolves are here. Let's count these wolves to know how many wolves, or the population of the wolves. In this picture, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So the population of the wolf here, the wolves, is 4 wolves. When I say population, I mean how many of the same kind. I didn't say 4 wolves and 3 bears. All the wolves in Yellowstone National Park make up the wolf population there. Let's look here. How many populations do you see? Look here carefully at this picture. Check how many kinds of living things you will see here. Is it only one kind of living thing? Animal and plant populations in an area may be part of the same community. So, these giraffes with these zebras, with this grass, and these trees, all together, they make a community. Because I have a group of giraffes, group of zebras, group of trees. A community is all of the populations that live and interact with each other in an area. So these giraffes are interacting with each other. They're also interacting with the tree because they're eating the leaves on the tree. These zebras are interacting with each other, and they're interacting with the grass because they're eating the grass. So this is a picture of a community. An ecosystem can have many different communities. For example, a bull snake is a part of the Yellowstone National Park community, along with wolves and bisons. In a Yellowstone National Park, there's a community of animals, community of plants. So in this very ecosystem, you can see several communities, not only one community. So a population of buffaloes, population of moose, population of elks, they all together they will make a community, and so on. Living on the land. Let's explore the ecosystems that are on land. There are many different ecosystems on land. Forest ecosystems have lots of trees. So this is one land ecosystem, the forest ecosystem. Ecosystems found on high sides of mountains are cold most of the year. So this is the main feature of the mountain ecosystem. It's most of the year it's cold. Desert ecosystems have plants and animals with adaptations that help them survive in dry areas. So in these different land ecosystems, animals that live in forest ecosystem have to adapt in a certain way to be able to survive there. Animals that live in a mountain ecosystem have to adapt in a certain way to be able to survive the cold. Desert ecosystem animals and plants have to have some adaptations that help them survive the hot and dry weather. So this is an example of mountain ecosystem. This is an example of desert ecosystem. This is an example of forest ecosystem. And we also have another land ecosystem we didn't talk about, which is grassland ecosystem. It's mainly flat, and the main feature of it is that it has grass. That's why it's called grassland ecosystem. Under the water, let's take an example of some water ecosystems. We talked about land ecosystems, now water ecosystems. A lot of the planet is covered in water. This means there are a lot of ocean ecosystems. Ocean ecosystem means saltwater ecosystem, because all of us, if we go swim in the sea, we can taste the salty water there. That's why it's called saltwater ecosystem. Animals like sea turtles and whales live in ocean waters. Now, another example of water ecosystem, freshwater ecosystems. They have much less salt than the ocean waters. If you go swim in a river or stream or a pond or a lake, you will see that it's not that salty. Frogs, ducks, and many kinds of fish live in rivers, lakes, ponds, and streams. Now, let's look here. What do you think this ecosystem is? The saltwater ecosystem. Sea turtles live there, sharks, stingray fish, and clownfish, etc. And this is a freshwater ecosystem. You can see ducks, there are some kinds of fish there. Also, crocodiles and alligators live in freshwater ecosystem. Now let's go to the summary. Everything that surrounds a living thing, it is environment. So I'm a living thing, this classroom is my environment. An ecosystem is all of the living and the non-living thing in a place. Myself, I'm a living. I interact with the air. This is non-living. I interact with the ground, with this remote. So myself and everything around me make an ecosystem. In an ecosystem, living things interact with each other and with the non-living parts of their environment. So I'm interacting with the air. I'm breathing the non-living thing. So I'm interacting with it. Living things in the same ecosystem share resources. I share the resources in my house with my mother and brother and sister and father. So I'm sharing the resource and the shelter and the house with them. A population is all of one kind of organism living in the same area. As we said, all of these wolves together make the wolf population. All of these giraffes make the giraffe population. All of these trees together make the tree population. A community is all of the populations that live and interact in an area. All of these populations interacting together make a community. Some land ecosystems are forests, grasslands, mountains, and deserts. Some underwater ecosystems are saltwater ecosystem and freshwater ecosystems. There you go. This is the last slide of our lesson. I hope it was easy and simple. You can always go back to the previous slides to remember more ideas and notes.